The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. That everything that was, is, and always has been. And therefore, extrapolating from that will enable us to understand that nothing that is happening now has not happened before. You see, everything that is happening now is a repeat of what happened before. And therefore, when we understand the cyclical nature of time, we understand that everything happens within its ages. You see, the ages enable a consciousness and awareness to develop within the people that are collectively living at a period of time. And see, that collective thinking, that collective consciousness creates a theme in which all that are living at that time falls victim to, or they're benefactors to. You see, there were ages in which many were allowed to be conscious of themselves. The age of Aries, the age of I am. And this is where your New Testament, I am, emerges from in order to understand the consciousness of the individual, the ego. And as time went on and these ages went on, there were different ages and different times in which the consciousness would shift to another direction, an age of I believe, and therefore the age of faith came along. An age in which people's minds were able to be manipulated because they believed everything that was presented to them, and so everything to them was magic. A magician does a trick, and somehow he's a god because he's capable of doing something that is unseen to the natural eye, the physical eye. And so he, in our minds, becomes a magician, and that is the age of I believe, which we lived for over 2,000 millennium, and that consciousness at that time believed everything. And so now we are emerging upon a time of I know. And this time of I know will be a collective freeing of the minds of captives so that they no longer believe, but they now know. What is it to know? To know means that what the magician is doing in front of your eyes, you now take the time out to discover the unseen of what makes his magic possible. And therefore, when you uncover his magic, he is no longer a god to you, but he is just what you are. For you are too. You are the I am. And you, in learning his unseen abilities, now learn these abilities yourself, and you too become the magician, because you have knowledge now of what made that possible. There's unseen principles that the ages have had that now today in the age of I know we have access to. We have access to understanding ourselves and understanding how the world works around us. And if we do not grab on to this time of I know, then we will continue to be those who believe, and we will be those who fill up the pews in churches. And we are those who collectively become manipulated as pawns in a game. You see, today we are being manipulated. Many are being manipulated that believe, that still live in that age of I believe. You're being manipulated. Every day when you turn on the news, or when you hear of the police brutality in which injustice is outright, and you react. How? You see, when you react impetuously, that has been prophesied by those who strategically set up events in order to bring out emotion from the people, because they understand your psychology. They understand what makes you function and how you tick and what kind of person you are. And are you a thinker? Are you a reactor? Who you are. They know your chart. They know who you are. They know your nation. They know your people. They know everything about you. And so they can manipulate events and make them even occur and understand from the very beginning what you will do and how you will move. You see, these people also know that those who continue to believe will react. And they will react not based on the full knowledge of what is happening, but they will only react on the emotion. You see, by keeping you reacting and emotional based on the injustices that are being presented before you every single day, even if it's ISIS and the wars in Iraq and the Middle East, they are keeping you stuck on the physical. You see, the physical is just encasing who you are in your spirit. Your spirit is your identity, but they are keeping you on your hardware. They are keeping you on your shell. For even the very computer that I speak into today is not alive. The only thing that makes it alive is the electricity that feeds it. And so within you, encased in your shell, is your electricity, your soul, your spirit, everything that makes you who you are. And because we are not allowed to focus in and do an introspection on ourselves and understand that the spirit is the energy, then by them creating these strategic moves, this newsworthy information that gets us all emotional and upset, then they keep you thinking that this is you. And they keep you distracted. You see, they know how the moon governs your emotions. And they know how the sun governs your head. And so they will create things within the moon and the sun, based on the events that are said to happen when it's supposed to happen, according to the alignments and the above. They know that during certain time periods, you will be prone to more emotion. And you will be impetuous at times, and you will react rather than think if you are without knowledge. You see, the magician knows how the above affects the below. So the magician knows exactly when things are happening and what is the propensity for everyone and how people will react. And they know what a full moon does to women. They know what a full moon does to certain astrological signs. And so they know how you will react at every given moment. And so they are always a step ahead of you because they are the magicians, and you just believe. You're not in this age of I know because you choose not to be, because you have been told in your belief that the unseen is wrong. And that is magic, and if it is not of God, then it is of Satan. But yet this is the science of the heavens that speak out daily. It tells you what events will happen, and it tells you things that will affect you. And how, if you are wise and you understand all of those complexities, how you can choose the best course for yourself. It even speaks of your past. And it even speaks of your future, and it can make you repeat your past over and over and over again. And sometimes you wonder why you keep meeting the same type of individual in your life that does nothing to elevate you but continues to bring you down. And you sink low into the abyss as you always have, and you never come up because you live in your past. You see, sometimes your stars speak of your north node, your south node. And if you don't understand those things, you don't understand why the universe speaks a certain language that you and your energies will follow and be governed by. But if you took a hands-on approach and understood the complexities of these unseen magicians, then you would understand exactly how to pick the right person and how not to repeat your mistakes. And how the future that is laid out for you in the stars, how you can ensure that it comes out for the better of you, your family, and your life, and your nation, and your people, and humanity, which is really where the love is. When we perfect ourselves and our families and our nation, that extends out into other nations and to other people and humanity. And that is the love that should be expressed. And so we live in the time of I know, almost. And we're living in a time where Uranus squares Pluto. And at this time, because of all that has been covered up, all of the I believe, all of the religion, all of the things that no longer serve humanity to bring out its love and its understanding to make their lives better, to improve and graduate in degrees, all of those things that have stifled that growth will and are being exposed. And so we live in the time where there will be labor pains, there will be struggle, there will be strife, there will be war, there will be racism, bias, there will be catastrophe after catastrophe. Because why? Because the age of I know speaks. And the age of I know wants us to grow. And so it will bring whatever is needed in order to make that happen. Just as a woman having birth to a child, giving birth, she has contractions and they are painful. They are very painful. And with every push and every tug and every pull and every opening within her canal, all of that pain is to bring forth beauty. And so the universe speaks right now, because the universe is the Creator's way of forcing you to recognize and reflect on the changes that need to be made and those things that need to be exposed that no longer serve humanity for the better or enable humanity to grow. The things that keep you stuck in the box. The things that keep you thinking magicians have powers that you cannot have. The things that keep you in the ego and the I am and the Old Testament rather than on the I know. You see, by keeping you here and keeping you on the external and keeping you in the pews of your churches, the buildings made with hands, they are enabled to keep you from introspection of yourself. You see, every time you sit in your space, in your lotus, and you quiet your mind, and you breathe in the Ruach, you gain energies from the Creator in which every question you could have ever had that's not written in a book, that wears, comes to you, and you get your answers. You see, this is the age of I know in which every single human being on this planet has access to this information, and there's no one more special than you. For I am not special. No one is special. You have access to this as well. And so this age of I am, I ask that you grab onto it. Find out the things that will enable you to be productive in your growth so that you understand the complexities behind the unseen and how it is that you can be involved in the decisions that will affect you forever. This age that we live in, this age of I know, is coming whether you like it or not. And there will be many people in your lives. I have mentioned before the 4 signs that will be affected by this time. And even if you're not, if you know someone that is, they will be affected. You may have thought you knew them all your life. And all of a sudden they've changed. They've done a 360-degree change. This is what happened to me. All of these years that you have seen me from the beginning of my channel until now, how much have I changed if you have been with me? You see, this took courage because I did not know what was being shown to me. All I knew was that things were coming into my paradigm that had never been there before. And I had prayed for courage. I asked for courage so that all of these things that were throwing into question all that I had ever believed, that I'd have the courage to at least look at it and have an informed way of making a decision rather than based on I believe of the old paradigm and the old way of just having faith. So I prayed and I asked that I be courageous. And so within these last almost 6 years of evolving, I've done a 360-degree change, and it has been painful. I lost the most beautiful people in my life, people that I love, that asked me, Vera, just go back to believing. Stop questioning. Just leave it alone. Stop digging. Stop looking. And some even thought I was losing my mind. You see, this is the time where, if you are courageous and you want to know rather than believe, you will even think that you are losing your mind. And I'm here to tell you, you're not. You're not losing your mind. You see, the stars are crying out and they are uttering speech. And that speech at this time is causing huge change. Changes in everyone's life. Revolution is what is happening on an individual scale and collectively to all humanity. And so we live in this age, this new age that is here and coming, this age of I know, and it is time to collectively grab onto this age so that you can rise in your consciousness, so that even when you leave this flesh that matters not, you can rise higher. And perhaps the next incarnation that you have and the next life that you have will be one of improvement, in which maybe you might come back to change humanity and to give them a consciousness that they had never been exposed to before. You see, I was born in the late 1960s, 1968. And during that time, all of the souls born at that time were born in a time where we were slaves in mentality. And we just believed. And believe it or not, this same group of souls that were born in this period of the late 1960s are the same group that were on the earth when Christ lived. I know that that is huge for you to know. But see, this is the magician that you don't see. This is behind the scenes of the unseen of what the magician knows that you don't know. And so this is why this age is crying out revolution. It's no longer believing the same old thing before. It no longer wants what doesn't serve them anymore, for they are crying out and they are saying enough of the lies. We are done. We want change. We want revolution. And that is the age that was here when your Christ, and there have been many Christs, walked the earth. And so in that time, during the Roman period, the Romans had slaves, whether they were physical slaves or mental slaves. Those are the children that were born at that time, the age of, I believe, the age of Pisces. And they've been born back in the late 1960s. And so these people, they will be bringing forth birth pains. And there will be 4 signs that are affected more than any others. And I mentioned those cardinal signs before. And this is not magic, guys. This is not anything special. You can know your future. You can know the future. It is not magic. It is the way that the universe and the cosmos has been mapped out. For everything has been written from the beginning to the end. And there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that was, is, and will be again. And so humanity is awakening now. And they are being birthed through a canal in which they no longer will believe based on faith. This is the age of proof, the age of I know, and the age of I believe. And I'm going to tell you guys, with every single fiber that I have, every single strength that I have, I will use what it is that I have collected and learned through my journey to help to free at least one person. Because I know the thinking and the mentality of what belief does. And it's no longer serving me. And this is my channel. This is my voice. This is where I'm sharing it. This is my life. This is my journey. This is my alchemy. And so I hope, even though some of this may be cryptic to many of you, and I'm sorry for the length of it, but I just need you to know. I want so many of you to know. Many of you are asking, you're crying, you think you're losing your minds. Some people are worried. They think it's Armageddon, like they've been taught to believe by religion, like I was taught to believe as a Jehovah's Witness. I was knocked on doors for and warned people for. It is not an Armageddon in which things are going to end. It is only a beginning. And everything that happened before will happen again. And the earth goes through her ages and through her changes. And so does humanity collectively as a whole. And so there is no magic behind the unseen. There's just knowledge. And someone took that knowledge away from you so that you don't understand the complexities and so that they can continue to play chess with your soul. Chess with your soul. And so that you don't understand the power of who you are. And so that in your next incarnation, or anything that you do even in this one, you can be a force to be reckoned with. And you can free all others of humanity that are searching again to gain back that which was taken. And that is knowledge. The time of, I know, it's here.